Imagine for a moment that your mind is playing little tricks on you right now, without you ever noticing. Tiny invisible forces pulling your decisions, shaping your beliefs, even guiding how you see yourself in the world. Sounds strange, right? But here's the twist. It's happening to all of us, every single day, and most people never realize it. If you're curious to finally understand why your brain works like this, stick around, because what you're about to learn on Brainahora might just change the way you think forever. And before we go deeper, make sure to like this video and subscribe if you love learning how the world and your mind really works. It helps the channel grow and lets us bring you more mind-shifting explanations like this. We all like to believe we're rational thinkers, that we make decisions based on logic and facts. But the truth is, our brain often takes mental shortcuts. These shortcuts save time and energy, but they also create errors in judgment. These errors are what psychologists call cognitive biases. Once you start seeing them, you will notice them everywhere. In your relationships, in arguments, in advertising, politics, social media, even in the way you judge yourself. And the craziest part is, these biases feel completely natural while they're happening. Take confirmation bias. For example, the brain has a habit of searching only for information that agrees with what we already believe. If you think a certain diet works, you'll only notice success stories. If you think someone dislikes you, you'll only pick up the negative signals. It's not intentional. Your brain is simply trying to protect your existing beliefs, because changing them takes energy and creates discomfort. This is why two people can look at the same situation and walk away with completely opposite conclusions. Both convinced they're right. It's not because one of them is smarter. It's because both are trapped inside their own mental filter. Then there is the spotlight effect, the belief that people are watching us far more closely than they actually are. You spill coffee on your shirt, stumble over a word, or post something online that you think everyone will judge. But the reality is, most people are far too busy thinking about themselves to notice. Your mind creates a spotlight that follows you everywhere, even though in real life there isn't one. Knowing this can be incredibly freeing, because it reminds us that the world isn't analyzing our every move, even when it feels like it is. Another fascinating bias is the illusion of choice. It happens when we believe we're freely making a decision, but in reality the options were designed to guide us toward a specific outcome. Think about ordering at a restaurant where the menu subtly highlights certain items, or buying something online where one choice is labeled most popular, nudging you to pick it. Even in everyday apps, subscription tiers are arranged so you feel like you're deciding independently when you're actually being steered. This bias doesn't mean people are manipulating you all the time, but it does show how easily the brain can be influenced when the environment is carefully shaped. And then there's the anchoring bias, where the first piece of information you hear becomes the reference point for everything else. If someone tells you a product normally costs $300, but is on sale for $99, that $300 becomes the anchor, making the deal look amazing even if the true value is much less. Our brains latch onto the first number or idea we encounter, and it quietly shapes every judgment after it. Another bias that affects relationships is the fundamental attribution error. This is when we assume someone's behavior reflects their personality rather than their situation. If someone cuts you off in traffic, you think they're rude. But if you cut someone off, you tell yourself you were in a rush or didn't see them. We excuse ourselves, but judge others harshly. Once you recognize this, you become more patient, more understanding, and less reactive, which improves almost every part of your life. Then there's the bandwagon effect. It's why trends explode even when they don't make sense. When enough people seem to like something, our brain assumes it must be good. It's a survival instinct rooted in ancient times when staying with the group meant staying alive. Today, it shows up when you buy something just because it's viral, follow an opinion just because it's popular, or feel pressured to do what everyone else is doing. Understanding this gives you back control over your choices. Another surprising bias is the availability heuristic, when the brain judges how common something is based on how easily you can recall an example. If you see news about plane crashes, your brain assumes flying is dangerous. Even Tugi, it's far safer than driving. If you hear a story about a rare crime, suddenly it feels like it could happen to you. The brain mistakes vivid examples for frequent reality. One of the most emotional biases is negativity bias. Your mind pays more attention to negative events than positive ones. A single criticism outweighs 10 compliments. One bad day can erase a week of good moments. This bias was originally a survival mechanism, Noticing danger kept our ancestors alive. But today, it often makes life feel harder than it really is. Recognizing this helps you shift your attention and appreciate positive experiences more intentionally. And finally, the Dunning-Kruger effect. The tendency for people with low skill to overestimate their ability, and people with high skill to underestimate themselves. Beginners don't know enough to see what they don't know, so they feel confident. Experts know so much that they become aware of every gap, making them feel less competent than they actually are. This bias explains why confident people aren't always correct, and quiet people often know more than they reveal. All these biases shape our world quietly, almost invisibly. But once you learn to spot them, you begin to understand yourself and the people around you in a deeper, more peaceful way. You make smarter decisions, avoid unnecessary arguments, and gain more control over your reactions. And that's the goal of Brainahora, to help you think smarter, live clearer, and see the world the way it really is, not just the way your brain automatically assumes it to be. If you're still here, you're already ahead of most viewers because you stayed curious. Before you go, drop a comment sharing which bias surprised you the most, and tell someone about this video by sharing it. Chances are, they're struggling with these hidden mental traps too, even if they don't realize it.